with regard to a mortgage, a remortgage that I'd done to release some equity. So just so it's clear to me, original mortgage was £75,000. The cost of the house was £1,000, £100,000. £1,000 would be great. 10 years passes, property is now valued at £125,000. You remortgage at 75%, which is £93,000. You pay off the original mortgage, which leaves you with £18,000 equity, but don't you now have a mortgage at £93,000, which you will have to pay back, or am I confused? By the way, this question relates to my previous Q&A episode. Here's a quick clip to bring you up to speed. In year one, you buy the property for £100,000, so that means you're going to put in a deposit, and your mortgage is going to be £75,000. So your deposit is £25,000, usually 25%, and your mortgage is £75,000. Now, I'm assuming that the property grows at 6% per year because that's a rate at which, believe it or not, UK property has grown on average per year over the last 15 years, okay? So in year two, it grows by 6%, it's gone up to £106,000. Now, in the mortgage column here, in this cell right here, you can see £79,500. Now, what that means is that if you was to remortgage your property with the value having gone up slightly to £106,000, you're going to remortgage at 75%. So that now becomes £79,500, which is 75% of £106,000. Now stay with me, right? When you remortgage and you look to draw out equity from your property, you use that £79,500, that's a new mortgage on the property, you repay the original £75,000 and £4,500 goes into your pocket. You keep that tax-free. That's basically, in a nutshell, how remortgaging works, and that's how you draw out equity from your property. And obviously, over time, as the value of your property goes up, the more equity you can draw out. So if we go down to, say, 10 years' time, after 10 years of growing at 6% per year, the value of the property is £168,948. If you was to remortgage at 75%, you could now get a loan of £126,711. You pay off your original mortgage, £75,000, and you keep the rest, which is £51,711. Okay, that's equity in your pocket. You can do what you want with it. And over time, if you hold the property long enough, that's why I preach buy and hold. I don't sell properties. I intend to hold my properties for as long as possible. Your equity just goes up and up and up. So say after 15 years, you've still got the property and it's been growing consistently, you're able to draw out £94,568 worth of equity. What you might do at that stage, if you're a portfolio landlord, so you have multiple buy-to-let properties, you might take that 94,000 and pay off the mortgage of one of the other properties that you bought 15 years ago with a mortgage of around £75,000. So now you own that outright. Yes, you have a bigger mortgage on this property, but you now own outright other properties in your portfolio. And that's essentially how this works. So yes, you'll now have an increased mortgage to repay once you've remortgaged. And carrying on with the example that you just saw in that clip, say the interest rate remained at 5%, okay, your payments would go from £312.50 per month at £100,000 when the property was worth £100,000 to £387.50 now that the property is worth £125,000. Same interest rate of 5%. We're just assuming that it stayed the same for the sake of this example. So your monthly repayments have risen by £75 per month. And you'll notice that this is, a relatively small increase. Why is that? Because the value of the property is low. And that's one of the reasons why I target properties within the range of like 90,000 to around about £125,000 because I'm managing my risk. So if I do have a significant interest rate increase over time between remortgages, because the value is relatively low, those monthly repayments are actually relatively low in terms of the increase. The increase is relatively low in the grand scheme of things. Now, I know not everybody invests in properties at £125,000 and below, but that's a personal choice that I've made, and I am actually really happy with that choice because my mortgage rates are going up now that I'm coming through a cycle of remortgages, and those rates have gone up, but the increases, in the amount that I have to repay each month isn't a big issue. And also a big key thing is that over the years, so I usually choose mortgage products that are 5 years in length. So I have a fixed rate for 5 years. And then at the end of that 5 years, you know, rates have either gone up or down. In this case, in this current economic environment, they've gone up. So my rates have gone up. But what else has gone up over those 5 years? The rent, okay? So over time, the idea is that the rents that you're able to charge go up over time, and you actually increase the rents over time. That's important to do. I'm not saying do it extortionately, okay? Because you still want to retain your tenants without pushing them out or causing them to leave by doing silly increases in the rent. But, you know, you do increase them over time. And, you know, when rates do go up and you now have a mortgage that's slightly higher, the idea is that the increases in rent have been higher than that. So you actually are not losing out financially. That's certainly been the case for myself over the last 5 years. And then also, if you're a portfolio landlord like me, my strategy is that I'm going to use the rise in the value of other properties in my portfolio when I remortgage them and release enough equity to pay off the mortgages of other properties in my portfolio. I'm not there yet, but the idea is that in 10, 15 years, when I'm really seeing large increases in the value of the properties in my portfolio, I can actually fully pay off other mortgages in my portfolio. And that's the idea. If you're going to be smart about it, that's what you should be aiming for when it comes to having a property portfolio of more than one buy-to-let property that you own. Hey, my goal is to get as many people investing this year as possible. So I've created some free resources in a link in the description of this video below that you can download completely for free to get you started on your property investing journey. I've put together a property investing calculator specifically for all the viewers of this channel for free. You just enter a few basic numbers and it instantly calculates all of your costs, profits and returns automatically to help you make the decision on whether to potentially invest or not. I've also created a free fundamentals of property fact sheet that gives you all of the basics and key information that you need to know when buying a property. And there's links with discounts on tax advice and tax return services, which are a key part of being a property investor. I hope you enjoy these free resources. Enjoy, and back to the video. Thank you for watching. This year I'm making a video every month to answer any questions that you have for me. So whether you want to know whether you should invest in a limited company or in your own name, whether you should buy a flat or a house, what is the best way to get started in property, or who my barber is, just let me know. You can ask me in the comment section below, on Instagram, on TikTok, and I'll make a video dedicated to your questions. Like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.